Take it easy. Quietly now. Busted.
Scatter!
Quietly now.
Let's dance. What in Tibet is going on here? This place is getting weirder by the minute. Hey, what's the matter? You don't look so good.
Take it easy.
I'll protect us.
Well. Looks like we meet again, traveler. teleporting. You needn't worry about such things. They don't concern you. Bow before the abyss!
Gotcha.
Scatter!
Here comes the catch.
Let's dance! Huh? Why can't we beat this guy? Oh, Paimon doesn't get it! We've faced others like him before! What's wrong this time?
Traveler, though you may have managed to avert countless crises before, your good fortune was bound to end sooner or later. It's time you realize how weak and powerless you really are. Your brother. Oh, pitiful traveler. Are you really so ignorant? Or are you just living in complete denial? His Highness has long since forsaken you. Your meager existence in his eyes is that of an annoying bug, only to be stepped upon. The bonds of love and family which drive you to find your sibling are utterly gone. Your journey is meaningless. But don't you fret now. Today will be your last. Now die!
What do we do? We haven't seen Hypatia anywhere out here. Oh, there she is! Quick, let's see how she's doing.
So sweet.
Well, the good news is that she's still conscious. Hey, why'd you drop her food on the floor like that? Are you okay? That's really not like you. Anyways, we can talk about this later. We better make sure she's all right first. Whoa! Wait a sec. Look at all this fruit lying around her. We can put that to good use.
Who is there? Tainari, is that you? Huh?
It's okay. You can relax, Hypatia. Tainari sent us here to bring you some food and water. Here, we have a letter that he asked us to give you.
I see. So, you're friends of Tainari. I apologize for all the trouble I've caused you. I'm grateful that you came so quickly to save me. You even brought all this fruit.
Well, actually, we didn't bring the fruit. It was already here when we arrived. We were kind of wondering about that, actually. When we found you here, there was all this fruit lying around and even some juice dripping from your lips. How did you end up like this anyway?
Oh, really? I seem to understand now. all the fruit was likely from my, neighbor. Must have come by and saw me like this.
Your neighbor? You mean there's someone else living nearby?
Oh? So you're able to see them too?
Wait, hold on a second, Traveler. You say that before we arrived, you saw some mysterious creature and suddenly had a strange dream? Isn't that a little too crazy to believe?
No, I actually do believe what the traveler is saying. I myself had a similar experience once before and ended up scaring my timid little neighbor here. You needn't worry. They mean you no harm. They only dragged you into the dream because they hoped to buy themselves a little time in order to scurry away.
So, Hypatia, just what kind of creature is your neighbor exactly?
I'm not sure what it's called, to be honest. But I do know that they have some sort of deeper connection with the Dendro Archon. I know this because the first time I saw them was also the exact day my consciousness was able to form a connection with Irminsul. Even after I opened my eyes and stopped meditating, my heart was still pounding, and my mind was racing with all the knowledge that I had touched. And at that very moment, I suddenly noticed a small figure at the opening of the cave. In my curiosity, I began to walk over to the creature. They must have already been used to me living in the cave, because they didn't seem to mind me approaching them. They just kept doing whatever they were up to. It wasn't until I crouched down next to them that they suddenly realized that I could see them.
Oh, and then?
And then I had a dream. By the time I came to, they were nowhere to be seen. I was convinced they'd never show up again. But sure enough, I saw them nearby a few days later. And they weren't alone. I feel like they aren't as afraid of me as the first time I approached them. But I never would have expected them to save me. Yes, no doubt about that. By the way, Tainari mentioned in his letter that you had questions for me regarding Irminsul. Sorry about that. Sounds like just drinking juice still isn't quite enough for my stomach.
Well, if somebody hadn't dropped the food earlier... Anyway, looks like we'll need to prepare something ourselves. Besides, Paimon's getting hungry too. Let's eat first and talk about Irminsul later. Alright, we're up, Traveler. Today's menu will feature sweet madame and a radish veggie soup. You'll love them, Hypatia. They're our specialties after all.
Sounds good. I've never tried any dishes from other nations before. I certainly look forward to it. It's been so long since I've had a decent meal, too. To be honest, the last time had to be when Tainari came to visit. Let's light it up!
Let's use the empty box that Tainari gave us since we already watched it. Oh, it smells amazing. And the box is a nice touch, too. Let's go serve this up and start eating with Hypatia.
Are you already finished cooking? Smells delectable. I'm truly thankful whenever I can enjoy a proper meal like this. Cooking really isn't my forte. Even though everything you mentioned was in Tainari's letter, it's still hard to believe you were able to connect with Irminsul immediately after smelling Spiritborn Ale for the first time. It took me nearly 3 years before I could do so. And everyone at the Academia even lauded me as a genius. You should know that some researchers spend their entire lives without ever successfully connecting with Irminsul as you have.
So why does this incense allow people to connect to Irminsul?
The ingredients used to make Spiritborn Ale primarily consist of plants created by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. These special ingredients are conducive to heightening our senses to the Dendro Archon's power. Since the root of the Dendro Archon's power lies within Irminsul, we can occasionally tap into her powers to peer into the depths of the earth. Naturally, anyone who can establish a connection with Irminsul in their first ever attempt must be a person of great understanding.
Makes sense. But Paimon's got a question. Why was she sensitive to the smell of those plants for such a long time?
That was primarily due to her body's unique constitution. Stimulated by the incense, she could perceive the Dendro Archon's power and experience the sensory overload, hence the adverse reactions. Taking in any scent similar to the ingredients of Spiritborn Ale would cause adverse effects. Not to worry, though. It appears you've already fully recovered. Technically, your body should still be sensitive to the powers of the Dendro Archon, but unless you're using intentional meditation techniques, the scent of Spiritborn Ale should no longer trigger such reactions.
Whew. Well, that's a relief.
I must admit, I am quite envious of your abilities. Even if it meant suffering from pounding headaches for the rest of my life, I'd consider it worthwhile so long as I could connect with Irminsul at will.
Whoa, you're really serious about this whole thing, aren't you?
I am a researcher after all. As a member of the Ritawe Darshan at the Academia, my main area of research is the stars and their connection to the fate of living beings. But there is still so much we don't know, especially regarding the mysteries that lie in the starry skies. Which is why I must turn to the all-knowing Irminsul for answers. If only my perception wasn't so limited. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that my every attempt to attune with Irminsul will be successful, or that doing so will leave my consciousness intact. I am currently in the stage of training known as Satyavada life. Many researchers in Sumeru have lost their minds while seeking to attune with Irminsul during this stage. Sages have said that Irminsul contains divine knowledge, and touching such knowledge without the proper preparations and abilities will only lead to one's mind caving in on itself. That's why we meditate alone. We need to ensure that our minds will be calm while minimizing the possibility of involving anyone else.
Whoa, so knowledge from Irminsul can be super dangerous. Aren't you afraid of the risks, Hypatia?
Of course I do. Especially during nights that are pitch black with no moonlight, and dead silent without even the sound of insects. However, I've been feeling better as of late. I don't get as scared anymore knowing that I have a little neighbor living nearby. I believe that being able to see them is a sort of blessing from the Dendro Archon. But what's strangest of all is that they're clearly an envoy of the God of Wisdom herself, and they have the curious power to make people dream.
What's so strange about that? It doesn't sound so out of place for a divine being, does it?
Well, it's strange because nearly nobody in Sumeru can ever dream.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, well, to an extent. Only children can dream in Sumeru. Adults, however, never do. The sages say that wisdom implies rationality, but that which occurs in dreams is often neither rational nor logical. Yes, if one struggles with anxieties, those emotions could influence their dreams. The fact that the people of Sumeru do not have dreams is seen as a blessing by the sages. They believe that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, the god of wisdom, is keeping us away from the foolish delusions you encounter in your sleep. I was born into a family of scholars in Sumeru City. Ever since I was a child, my parents would always tell me that I'll know I've grown up once I stop dreaming. I studied hard, enrolled as a student in the academia, and went on to become a researcher. Sure enough, I never dreamed again. But then, on the day I scared the little Aranara, I suddenly saw a dream again. It was incredible. Though I don't exactly remember what I saw, I clearly recalled the feeling. I suddenly felt like I was a child again. Back then, I was foolish and ignorant as any youth would be, but I was free of fear. Maybe dreaming isn't as bad as we've made it out to be. Just be sure not to speak of this if you travel to Sumeru City. They'll look at you as if you've lost your mind.
So, do you have any thoughts about the things she saw when she connected with Irminsul?
Sorry. I'm afraid I don't have any answers as of now. All I can say is that what you saw is a memory contained within Irminsul itself. World Forget Me. What could that possibly mean? If only I could ascend past Satyavada life and begin Paripurna life, I might have some more answers for you. If you two are ever in the area again, please be sure to come and see me. There's no need to be thanking me. You two are my saviors. Besides, I'm already looking forward to tasting some more of your cooking.
Now that we know Hypatia is alright and had the chance to ask her some questions, Paimon thinks it's about time to head back to Gandharvaville.